Hello everyone and welcome back to the next episode of our Planet Zoo Sandbox adventure. Today we will be, as you can currently see, creating both a new guest dining and rest area and a safari habitat for several different species, such as the water buffalo or African buffalo as Planet Zoo calls them, springbok, ostrich, black wildebeest, nyala, sable antelope, and white rhino. But here you can see our guest area is coming along quite well, and this will turn into one of the largest and most detailed that I have done so far. And while there's always going to need to be improvements to be made to it, I am rather proud of how it turned out. And yeah, we have 3 new exhibit species, a beetle, a snail, and something that I cannot remember, and I do apologize for that. The exhibit animals just do not keep my attention that well. And now we've got a bunch of trash cans, and I realized I put the umbrellas on the wrong way, and anybody who is nitpicky like I am will notice the umbrellas are still slightly ajar to the tables. I never got around to fixing that. And now it's kind of just a feature, so I don't really feel like fixing it. But now we need to find a centerpiece, though we did find a arch before we found the centerpiece, but there is our centerpiece. And yeah, we're now starting to get into our safari area. I say safari, it's safari plus like a plain, like a savanna area that we will have a sidewalk going over top of. And this is going to be a very large exhibit, one that I now kind of regret making, as you will see, very rectangular. And I kind of also regret where we placed it in the zoo. I would rather have had, like you could see over the valley area with the giraffe, a path going over it and then down instead of having the guests have to loop back around. But it's the decision we made, and you live and you learn, you know? But this is actually turning out pretty good, besides a few building issues that are standard to Planet Zoo. Now we've got our stereotypical rock wall. I do love the rock walls. Do kind of wish there was a bit more variation in sizes of rocks, but I don't think they're gonna do that, so it is what it is. And as you can see, I did make this fatal mistake, which I was very upset over. But I also made the mistake of, as you can see, there is still a gap. Not a gap per se, but the wall doesn't quite go very high up above the water line. And I didn't think that would be an issue right here. You can see it very well right here. Me being an idiot was like, oh, they won't be able to swim over that. You know, water buffalo, which are very good swimmers, they can't swim over that. Spoiler alert, they swam over it very quickly. And I am rather curious to know if there is like a way to quickly get rid of all of that brush, like select it and get rid of it, because that would be a very nice feature to have. But yeah, we are making some fast progress with this horribly rectangular exhibit. That will bother me till the end of time, but you know, can't change it now. But we've got our buildings, our shelters, if you will. I think next I want to start experimenting with like backup areas, like keeper only areas that guests don't see, because that's something that every zoo has, except for like select species. Like one off the top of my head is red wolves, because they need to be considered wild animals at all times. and ready for release at all times. You can't train them to go into, you can't train shifting behavior for them or get them habituated to people. But most other animals will have a off exhibit area which they're trained to shift into and such. And that's something I want to, I don't know how well I'll be able to do it with the tools that, as you can see, we had a water buffalo escape, but I don't know how well we'd be able to do it with the tools that Planet Zoo has provided us, because backup areas, hate to say, they aren't very pretty, generally. They're your stereotypical dad zoo, what are those? Like, whenever you see people bash on zoos, those are the images they use, even though that's not at all, it's fine for the animals because they're typically not kept back there for very long. And that was just a bunch of palm oil trees that I just placed down. And if you check out the live stream, which I am going to highlight the clip of, I do go into depth about palm oil, and it is a very, even if you don't want to look at my stream about it, I would definitely do your research on palm oil. But yes, we also added some construction things like these tents here in the village, just to give it a bit more of a lifelike feel. And my favorite, the flipped over Jeep. I just find that funny. And now we're back with Planet Zoo's pathing systems, which are not fun to deal with. The viewing area is kind of not great, but you know. Now, as you can see as I'm going through here, I forgot a very important fact, which is power. And for some reason, you can't put any transformers or anything onto pathways, which I think is really stupid. But that's just the way that it is. So I go through several different methods of how to solve this issue before finally finding one that worked. Along with trying to find a good centerpiece for this. I was like, ooh, the elephants work really well, but then we don't have elephants here. Then we found this rhino. I don't know why we kept going after the rhino, considering we do have rhinos in this exhibit, so it fit perfectly. But, you know, I'm not always the brightest human being. And yes, we're back to the struggling with the power sources. And so my first idea was just leave them in the middle of the habitat. Like, why can't the maintenance guys go out there? I don't know. Real life maintenance guys go where you need them to go. And yeah, but that obviously Planet Zoo doesn't work like that, so unfortunately that plan does eventually not work out as soon as having to replace them once was annoying enough. So I then decided with what we did end up going with is going underground, which worked really well, except for the fact that getting underground and figuring out where you are underground is not the most user-friendly way of doing things. And then because for some stupid reason, even though it's underground and the guests cannot see it, it is still negatively impacts the guests. I think that is really stupid, but it is just a game mechanics that we do have to live with. And now we're going back into our guest area and doing a bit more fine details, which, like I said, I am really happy with this, how this came out. Like, is there more work that needs to be done? Yes, but I don't know. I think it came out pretty okay. Though I did stab my guests quite often with these spiky claw things. And now time for the thing that makes zoos look really nice, foliage. The best part of a zoo. I'm not quite sure why they idle there when there are other benches around and why they walk off the path, because I've never seen them walk off paths before. It was kind of annoying because it's like, oh, well, you don't have enough benches around when there's a bench right next to it. So, you know, okay, sure, Planet Zoo, go with that. I'm sure that makes total sense. And we need some pops of color. I really wish they had life-size models for giraffe. I think that would be really cool. I really like these types of trees. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video. And as usual, we're going to do a quick walkthrough. I don't know what I just stepped up over there, but okay. Sure game. We're going to enter what we did today, which, as you can see, quite a bit of foliage. I really do like the foliage. It just gives it a more natural look. Fills in all the dead space. Yeah, this is our guest area. I think it needs some few potted plants, but for the most part it looks pretty good. It's a bit barren in a few spots that we do need to fix, and nope, I thought I saw litter. Thankfully no litter. I am happy. And this is what we've got going on from this view of our habitat. It's a pretty decent view. I kind of wish this game had, like in Zoo Tycoon 2, they had like the binoculars that guests could use, because a lot of zoos do have that in like these big habitats like this. But this game doesn't have that, so I need to get rid of this grass. But if we head on up here and up the slope we go, we can see our lovely little Jeep that's might have hit that rock. Oops. It's a baby rhino. And we're just gonna walk through all these crowds of people. A not so baby rhino. And yeah, we've got some pretty good views up here. We've got an ostrich doing ostrich things. Feathered dinosaurs, as they are awesome. I almost said little rhino. They are in fact not little. And yeah, got just a nice little area for our animals. So it seems like guests aren't actually getting down this far, which is a little concerning. Not gonna lie. But also, we're not playing in franchise mode, so money doesn't really matter all that much. And yeah, we have got quite a number of ostriches now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you enjoy my content, maybe hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you guys anything. It greatly helps out the channel. And yeah, again, this is live streamed. All of this work and stuff is live streamed over at Twitch. So if you'd like to check that out, the link will be down in the description. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you all next time. Bye!